Hello, welcome to my presentation on the insect apocalypse and the potential end of humanity. What is the insect apocalypse? It is the significant loss of insect diversity due to many factors. Focused in here are insecticides and pesticides, and deforestation and urbanization. My first quote is from D.L. Wagner. Many of the declines begin in the 1950s at the beginning of the Anthropocene, and that losses have been continued largely unabated for many taxa. So, of course, when the Anthropocene was in full swing, I guess, insecticide, insecticides and pesticides were very prevalent to increase crop yields. With that, insects cannot feed on those crops and they pass away. And if their main food source is taken away from, insecticides and pesticides, then, they can't get their population numbers up. And the second quote I have is insects are dealing with the particular challenges posed by pesticides, along with the effects of losing meadows, forests, and even weedy patches due to the relentless expansion of human spaces. Of course, this is related to deforestation and urbanization. As human populations increase, of course, more space needs to be made um, for homes and businesses and such. And with that, insects lose the places that they live and forage. So, yeah. Impacts on the triple bottom line for the environment. It ruins food webs, the insect apocalypse. So insects are the primary consumers for organisms in higher trophic levels. So if insects were lost, then food webs would be disrupted because higher trophic level organisms need to look for food elsewhere, which could, cross over to each other. And economics and equity, these two go hand in hand for pollination. Trillions of bugs flitting from flower to flower pollinate some three-quarters of our food crops, a service worth as much as $500 billion every year. Similarly, I have this other quote, both from Brooke Jarvis. Shortages of insect pollinators have led farmers to hire human workers to replace bees. So it's obviously if we didn't have insects and if the insect apocalypse continues, we would run out of bees, for example, just general pollinators. With that, humans would have to step in, and it is just not efficient time, energy, and cost-wise. Possible solutions. Here are the three I have. Lower light pollution, plant native plants, and educating the public. So light pollution is caused by ALAN or artificial light at night. Of course, as stated from this quote, nocturnal and crepuscular insects are considered sensitive to ALAN. A way to combat this would be to use motion sensors. This way, the light won't be on continuously, it would just be used sparingly. If you were to plant native plants, then that would give places for insects to forage, gather pollen, mate, and more. And then I also put that you can look at them because they're very pretty, and insects would appreciate, obviously, places to do those activities. This one may be more difficult, which would be to educate the public on the insect apocalypse. Here's a quote, sorry, interest leads to tracking, which leads to awareness, which leads to concern, which leads to action. And I feel like this would be most efficient because if people are at least aware of the problem, maybe it could inspire them to help. And here are my sources. Thank you.